Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please join me in welcoming our webcast viewers. My name is Gillian Riley, and I'm the president of the Canadian Club of Toronto. Viewers, thank you for joining us today. When developing club programming, we work hard to ensure a diversity of views as well as speakers. Nova Scotia's Premier is a great example. Before I formally introduce him, let me tell you about a few of our upcoming events. On Tuesday, May 29th, we welcome to the podium the Honourable François-Philippe Champagne, Canada's Minister of International Trade, and Eli Cohen, Israel's Minister of Economy and Industry. They will speak about the Canada-Israel Free Trade Agreement. And on Friday, June 1st, we're diving into the Canadian housing market with experts from CMHC, AREA, and Stephen Smith from mortgage powerhouse First National. To order your tickets or to learn more about the club, please visit our website at canadianclub.org. You can also join the conversation via Twitter and Instagram by following us at CDNCLUBTO or by using that hashtag. We want to offer a very special thanks to today's event sponsors, McKesson Canada, represented by Dominique Pila, Morneau Chappelle, represented by Joe Blomley, and Scotiabank. Thank you to our sponsors. We are also lucky to have a number of students joining us today from the Rotman School of Management, sponsored by Amera, and the University of Toronto Political Science students, also sponsored by Bell. We're so glad you're here, and maybe you could stand and we could just acknowledge you. Thank you. We're glad you're with us today. And now our guest speaker. Members and guests, please don't forget, if you have questions or you have comments, we'd ask that you write them down on the Q&A cards that have been provided at your table, and our staff will collect them, and we will take questions at the end of the speech. Atlantic Canada has a lot of things going for it. Apart from its breathtaking physical beauty and the warm hospitality of Maritimers, the region is evolving into a destination of choice. Nova Scotia is a perfect example of Atlantic Canada's growth and development. The head of its provincial government, Premier Stephen McNeil, is an ardent champion for Nova Scotia. He travels the country and the world to drum up business, promote tourism, and attract new residents. And it's working. The province's population has increased, unemployment has gone down, and the government has produced 3 consecutive balanced budgets. Premier McNeil has been leader of the Nova Scotia Liberal Party for 11 years. Under his leadership, the party has won 2 majority elections, the first in 2013 and the second one year ago. His focus has been on creating financial stability, and this has resulted in more investment in governmental priorities, healthcare, education, and youth among them. Recently, the Department of Business was created to focus on growing the economy and creating jobs. The Premier is a former small business owner, so the focus on creating a thriving business environment should come as no surprise. His vision for his province is grounded in a desire to create an inclusive, welcoming, and vibrant environment where all will succeed. We look forward to hearing from our Premier this morning, and let's learn more about his plans to make his vision a reality. Premier McNeil, the Canadian Club of Toronto podium is all of yours.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good. Jillian, thank you for your kind introduction. To the sponsors, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come and share a little message from Nova Scotia. I first want to recognize the students in the back of the room. I want to thank you for coming out. I want to encourage you to continue to strive for your hopes and dreams. And upon graduation, I want you to think about Nova Scotia. As Jillian said, I had the good fortune of being elected the Premier of the best province in the Federation in October of 2013. Upon arriving, I was greeted with a $500 million hole in the finances of our province, an out migration of our sons and daughters who were not looking for an opportunity at home, but looking for opportunities beyond our province. We had an aging demographic. We had a healthcare infrastructure that was falling apart, and I wondered why I asked for the job. But I did. And I realized, though, what an opportunity that was before us, but it had to mean that things had to change. The way that we had been doing business as a province needed to change. I don't think just for Nova Scotia, I would argue for many Canadian provinces. We came in very quickly recognizing that we were living way beyond our means. We then had to go into a collective agreement negotiations with every major agreement in our province, with many challenges. We just delivered signing our health care agreement, which was, I'm hoping, the last of all of them, but it reflects the province's ability to pay. It allows us to live within our means. It allows us to deliver high-quality public services to Nova Scotians, at the same time making sure that we treat all taxpayers fairly, not just those who have the great fortune of being in the public service in our province. We continue to make sure that the education system in our province had to change. It wasn't serving the needs of anyone, including, most importantly, our children. Whether your children required extra support or whether they were a high achiever, our system was not meeting their needs, and we had to change the status quo. We just recently finished through a collective agreement with our public education system and transforming the way we deliver public education to our children. But what we really had to change in Atlantic Canada above all of that was the way we do economic development. When I came into government, we had a Department of Economic Development that actually was a banker, which said when lending institutions said no, the private sector came to government, and we said yes. I have this idea that if the banks say no, I probably shouldn't bet on the idea either. So we eliminated the Department of Economic Development, and we created Department of Business with a focus on how do we create an environment that allows the private sector to work with us to drive economic opportunities. My job as the Premier of this province, the Premier of our province, to ensure that we have quality health care and education system that can respond to the needs of our children, and ensuring that vulnerable citizens in our community, when they require support, have it. And then my job is to partner with the private sector to drive job opportunity and job creation. It's why we created the Office of Regulatory Reform. When we came in, and the idea of that is to streamline regulation in our province, and it's not to get rid of regulation, let me be clear. It's not to eliminate regulation. Regulation is an important part of setting the rules for private sector to develop, but they need to be consistent, and they need to reflect the reality of today, not 1940. As we've gone through that transition to begin to make sure that we have the regulatory environment that sits here, it is what we use to overlay on every decision we make inside of government. When we bring in public policy, what will it do to the economic environment of our communities? What will it drive job growth, or will it stymie it? And if you're going to bring a regulation into our government, you need to be prepared to eliminate one other. Our job is not to continue to pile on hurdles to stop the opportunity of economic growth. We need to drive those opportunities. We looked at how do we then change our economy into what is the economy of today, so that that table at the back of the room, those young people, see their hope in our province. They see their opportunity to be here, which means we need to create a workplace that they want to be in. We need to drive a community and an environment of innovation. We need to make sure that they realize that public and private institutions can collaborate to drive economic opportunity. It's why one of the first decisions as a government, one of the first moves we did was ask our university presidents to come to the table. Before I came into government, people would tell us we have 10 post-secondary institutions in our province and 13 community colleges. And people saw them as a liability on the balance sheet. I see them as an asset. They invite 20,000 young people to our province every year. 20,000 come to Nova Scotia, 13,000 sons of daughters of Canadians come to Nova Scotia, and 8,000 international students come to Nova Scotia for one reason alone, and that's to go to university. But my message to those presidents was, you have an economic role as well as an educational role. We know these institutions will drive top quality education, provide the skills that our young people will need to compete in the world. But what are you doing to attach them to our economy? What is your role beyond just providing that quality education? And they have stepped up, driving innovation, working with the private sector, whether it is the Volta, which is an incubation center for startups and communities, which has been driven by our post-secondary institutions, working in collaboration with the private sector, providing an environment for those young people to find and take an idea, whether it's to drive it into a business or work in collaboration with others to build that idea into a business. They've continued to make sure that we work in that level of collaboration across sectors. It will not just be the government of Nova Scotia that will help continue to improve our province's outlook. It will be all of our institutions working together to drive economic opportunity. And why is this important? Our province needed an opportunity for young people to stay here to change the demographics, or we were going to collapse on ourselves. We had a rising debt, we had the out-migration of young people, and we had a lot of long-term care health costs to deal with. I'm very proud of the fact, with the support of many people, we've delivered our province back to fiscal health. We're one of 2 Canadian provinces that is on a sustainable path, according to the Federal Budgetary Officer. And while we have 3 balanced budgets, I see nothing but balanced budgets in our future. It provides us the opportunity, which is some of you might find strange for a Liberal Premier to stand here and talk about balanced budgets. But it is the why. It allows us the opportunity to make the investments that we've been able to make. We've reached out across the table to private sector. We said to the private sector, we will be your partner. We will walk side by side with you. You provide the job opportunity. We will support you hiring a university and community college graduate for 2 years in our community. Graduate opportunities, a way for us to invest in our people with the entrepreneurs who know how to drive job opportunity. It has attached 600 people to our workforce and growing. We have Innovate Opportunities, which is attaching PhD graduates to the same workforce. We can only do that because we have the capacity to invest. Because we were able to say no, on one hand, we need to make sure that we provide an opportunity for all Nova Scotians, that our collective agreements, that our cost of doing business has to reflect the desires of every Nova Scotian, not just 30%. We are very much.
Including the 3 prior informed consent of corporations that are coming into our government.
I'm very proud.
Coming into our territory and not consulting the Mi'kmaq treaty rights holders. And treaty rights education should be in the universities in Canada, all across Canada.
Your name is?
My name is Doreen.
Doreen, nice to meet you, Doreen. Let me.
I really believe that Nova Scotia has been given permits to BP, to oil and gas, to corporations that come into our territory to destroy our economy, our way of living.
Doreen, if
I believe that we should have free prior informed consent.
I absolutely,
Came from an extreme energy
we agree.
conference to talk about the destruction of the water.
It's okay.
To talk about all the destruction of Mother Earth, where people are suffering.
I'm very proud of.
I feel like we are in a position to stop that from happening.
We are very proud of the relationship that we have with the Mi'kmaq Nation in Nova Scotia. I'm very proud as the Premier of our province to stand up in our communities and say we are all treaty people. Someone signed those treaties on behalf of me as well as. So we have implemented. Let me just finish.
How they were treated
We,
want them to come to the treaty rights holders.
we absolutely,
Talk to the grandmothers.
we would absolutely agree with you. It's why we've driven economic development opportunities, not only, quite frankly, in Member 2, but all across Mi'kma'ki, to make sure we do those, provide an opportunity for your sons and daughters to be able to ensure that our province is sustainable. I absolutely agree with you 100%. We've absolutely supported and worked alongside with your chiefs to ensure that not only as we grow as a province, all Nova Scotians need to see themselves reflected in the important decisions that we make, including our First Nations, who 400 years ago greeted our French ancestor to come to our province to ensure that we could make those investments. To go back to why the decisions are important. To put us back into good fiscal health. It is to ensure that every Nova Scotian sees an opportunity for themselves to live inside of our province, for their children to have hopes and dreams, for a sustainable long-term economy and the long-term health of our province. I'm very proud of the fact that we have bucked the trend in Canada. Over the last 2 years, more young Canadians are choosing to stay in Nova Scotia than leave. Think about that. It's been since 1990. The province of Nova Scotia was losing more young people than retaining. The last 2 years, we've been able to retain more young people than we were losing. All through by working in partnership with the private sector and our post-secondary institutions to drive job opportunities. As we go through providing the issue around Volta, as I spoke about, the issue around ocean science is an amazing opportunity for Atlantic Canada, particularly for Halifax. We're seeing a huge opportunity when it comes to that investment. But what's most exciting for me, of the $300 million that's being invested, the most exciting part for me as the Premier of our province is a very small piece of a cove on the ocean front. And that part will be an incubation center that we will protect and invest in as a government to ensure that everyone who has a business idea and a startup idea will have that opportunity to be on our waterfront in an environment that will have researchers and academia with us. At the same time, there will be private sector entities that are there to help them scale those opportunities. That's the kind of environment that I believe is driving our province to great success. All of the indicators that we wanted to see change are starting to move in our favor. I want to tell you this, and the reason I lay this out for you is because it's important for you to understand the foundation of where we are as a province. I tell you this, I will be my 5th anniversary of being the Premier in October. And if you'd invited me in year 1, I would have come and spoke to you, and I would have asked you to come and invest in our province. Because that's what I should do. But I'm not sure that I would have had the confidence to tell you that the investment you were about to make would be the best investment your company would make in that fiscal year. I can stand here today, though, and tell you as I look at the economic environment in our province, I look at the regulatory environment in our province, I look at the public and private collaboration inside of our province, when I look at the young people who are choosing to live in a vibrant province without hesitation, I can tell you the investment, if you choose to make it in Nova Scotia, will be the best investment you make this fiscal year. All of the things are there, and the most important part of this entire equation will be the people that you will meet in that journey in our province. Young, innovative minds, private sector partners who are willing to collaborate, and public sector institutions that realize they have a role to drive economic opportunity, not just provide public services to our citizens. It is a model that I believe you betting on will drive profits for your company, provide opportunities for your employees, and provide growth for Nova Scotia. The old saying is our province is open for business is just that, a saying. I ask all of you who do business globally, don't take my word for it. Ask Scotiabank, ask BMO, ask those who are investing in those communities to drive your investment in our province. I thank you all for being out very much today, and I look forward to answering any questions you may have. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is better than question period. There's no questions? Good. As you can see, when you govern and you're an activist government, there are challenges associated with it. But if you ask for the responsibility to govern, then you should do just that. And that has been the direction that our government has taken for the last 5 years, and it will be the direction that our government will take as long as I get the privilege to be the Premier of our province.
Thank you very much. Your passion and your commitment to Nova Scotia is tremendous. We do have a few questions here, so we'll just go through a few of them, if that's okay. Is that okay?
Sure.
What is your dream Nova Scotia private-public partnership, or what's the next big wow project?
Wow. I don't know if it's the next big wow project. We will do, first of all, the public-private partnership. There will be an RFQ going out very quickly in terms of us making an investment in our infrastructure. We've also set aside just recently in our current fiscal budget $120 million in a broadband trust that'll be set aside, and it will be a collaboration between that funding will be used to work with private sector entities to drive what is now an automatic, which is access to good quality broadband. The challenge in our province, because of the way we're spread out and the population, the business case doesn't always lend itself to being in every part of our province, but we as a government believe that we have a responsibility to ensure that as many Nova Scotians as possible get access to broadband, and we will work with our private sector partners to achieve that.
Thank you very much. There's just one other question I think we'll do here. Let me see here now. What opportunities are you providing in an effort to keep young people in Nova Scotia? And I think you've talked a lot about young people, so that seems to be a good question.
Well, it is, and I think this idea is it will be the private sector that will keep young people in our province. We as a government have renewed the public sector. We've eliminated the equality, believe it or not, in 2013, in order to join the public sector in Nova Scotia, you had to have 2 years' experience. At every level, it didn't matter what it was. We've eliminated that for many of our positions. We've, in many ways, renewed our public sector, but it's within the framework of what we consider to be the cap. That will not continue to grow the public sector, but is a renewal process happening. But in order for young people to stay in our province, it will actually be the private sector. It will be, in our role, will be to partner with them. As I said, to graduate to opportunities, graduate to innovate. How do we create the environment? Investing in infrastructure like we did around Volta, investing as we will on the Cove site, which will provide that incubation center for the young entrepreneurial minds that I believe is unprecedented coming out of post-secondary institutions today. The entrepreneurship that these students are showing today is unbelievable. Public sector and the governments need to catch up to create the environment for them to actually achieve that, and that's where I see our role is. And I'm very grateful for those who are taking the opportunity to stay, live, and work in Nova Scotia.
So I think with that, we'll bring it to a close. Certainly being in politics is not easy, and you're very much up for the job, it seems. Your commitment to Nova Scotia and your vision of where you want to take it is very admirable. And having 2 terms, I think you said it's been how many years since someone's held two terms?
It's been 30 for any government, and it's been the Second World War for the Liberal Party.
So that is an impressive statistic. You're infectious having you here with us today, and we wish you all success in your future endeavors. And we know you're going to do great things for the province of Nova Scotia.
Thank you. Just in closing, I want to thank all of you. It's not easy to be at a function when something like that happens. But it's important that everyone has an opportunity to express themselves and to be heard. And you, all of you, were very impressive to sit through that. And it's important, and I'm very proud of the relationship we have with the Mi'kmaq in our province. We are all treaty people, as I've said oftentimes. But the reality of it is, for us, we have to live together, we have to work together, but we need to continue to grow and maximize all the resources that this country has to offer and this province has to offer. So thank you for allowing that to happen, but also thank you for your patience during it.
Yeah. Very, very well said, and I think that sort of speaks to the power of democracy. So yes, thank you. Just in closing, thank you again to our sponsors, McKesson, Morneau Chappelle, and Scotiabank for supporting this morning's event. Thank you to mediaevents.ca for your support of the event. If you would like to learn more about the club, please visit our website at canadianclub.org. We hope to see you at many upcoming events. Thank you for coming this morning, and have an absolutely wonderful day.